Is it live? One second, people. Okay, we're live. Nice. Welcome to the second episode of my podcast, and I've got a name for it now. Rules to the Game. Took a while to get that name. I couldn't think of what I wanted to have, so the first time I just had Marcell, but now I've got Rules to the Game. And today's topic, well, this topic's kind of broad, to be fair. So I'm going to speak about multiple things, but it's more about the dynamic of the male and female relationship. And the reason I'm going to talk about that is because on my first podcast, I basically got slack for saying that men shouldn't cry. And that is not what I said at all. What I actually said is we should know when we should and shouldn't show emotion, who we should show emotion to, and where we should show emotion. But obviously, people just run with what they want to go, their own narratives and stuff. And they got upset with it and they started messaging me. So I decided to choose this topic so I can piss them off even more. So let's think about the dynamic of a male and a female, yeah? Let's look at this. So I wrote down some notes. So every now and then I'm going to look at my phone and kind of just go through my notes, right? So if I was to give relationship advice, the first thing I would say is that you have to understand the difference between being loved and being used. Very, very simple rule. It's a very simple rule to the game. Being loved and being used. It's very easy to get bamboozled and get used, especially as men, because we have a lot of onus on us, like first date, we've got to pay, we've got blah, blah, blah. And I think we should do that. If I go on any first dates, I always pay. And okay, that might be up to you, like in your dynamic with the person, but that's just how I feel, right? But you have to understand what it takes to get used in a situation like that. And I use this example, right? If you had a friend and they said to you, I'm willing to be your friend, but every time we go out, I want you to pay. And every time we go and do something, I want you to buy it for me. You'd say that friend is using me because the only reason they're there is because they want me to buy them stuff or they want me to pay. And the same thing in a relationship. Now, I'm not saying that it should be split 50-50 because I generally don't believe in that. But there's things in a relationship I need you to do for me, and there's things in a relationship that I should do for you. And you have to keep that dynamic going so that you can have a good relationship. 1 second. I have to look for my notes on this one. Yeah. You don't want a relationship... You don't want a relationship based primarily on finances. Well, I don't think you should have a relationship based primarily on finances. And the reason I say that is because if it's just on finances, it's very easy to trick someone. You say to them, okay, we're going to go out, I'm going to buy this, blah, blah, blah. You beat or whatever, and then you just move on. And then that girl's a body. So a woman has to understand which partner she's picking. If she's only interested in shiny things, then she'll be tricked by shiny things. And it's very easy for that to happen. So I generally think when it comes to relationships, you have to have a balance of understanding like love and support and being provided for. I do think finance should be a part of the reason that you're with someone, because you want to make sure you've got a potential. You want to make sure that the partner you choose knows how to make sure that you're going to be good, both physically, because that obviously counts, and financially. But if it's based primarily on finances and your goals are always primarily finances for a woman especially, then you're in a place where you can always get tricked. And I just don't think that's going to lead to anything positive. You're going to end up with a bunch of bodies, and yes, body counts is real, and yes, body counts means something, but you're going to end up with a bunch of bodies, and the more that happens, the less value you have as a woman. And I know people are going to go crazy when they hear that and blah, 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 and you should be free and express, blah, blah. But let's be honest. The truth is, I would rather have a girl, for me, I would rather have a girl who's smart, sound of mind, honest, kind, and not been around the block. Facts. Why do I want a girl who's been banged out? You know what I mean? Imagine like your girl has done a madness with bare man. Who wants that? I wouldn't want that. So for me, body counts definitely count, But finances definitely count, but it can't be the only thing. Body counts is actually, I would actually put that above finance. If I was a dude and a girl was rich but had loads of bodies, I would rather go with a girl who's broke and has not been around the block. And for a girl, I don't think it matters as much. I think it's very different for a female to a male. A male, and I think that's down to biology, which I'll get into later. But a man being around is I don't even think you can say a man whore, because I don't really think that's a thing. But I do get you can have boundaries and things you want as a woman, but a dude going around isn't a thing. So 1 second. Right. So choosing your partner correctly. So this is a big one for me, because I come from like a not like a ghetto background, but like I've been in the hood and I've been around, and you tend to see a lot of things like single baby moms and dudes running around not looking after the kids, and I think that's down to like not choosing your partners correctly. I think when we ignore red flags on people all the fucking time. You'll get with a dude, because you like him. You ignore the fact that he ignores his other children, that he doesn't pay for them. You ignore the fact that he beat up his ex-baby mum, and you ignore all the other stuff he does. And even the dudes do the same thing. You ignore that she's been with all your brethrens, and you ignore that she's got a high body count. And then when you end up in a situation where either you looking for them for support, or you get them pregnant and they're not doing their due diligence, you're shocked. Suddenly it's how did this happen? You knew how that happened. You ignored the red flags in the beginning. You're one of the 8 baby mums he has, and now he don't look after his kids. Or you're the number 56 in her body count, and now she's leaving you, and you don't know why. Choosing your partner correctly is very, very important. It's a due diligence we have to start doing. And that comes down to like having conversations, talking about goals and what you want, being honest about what you want. When you go on dates with people, it's not just to sit there and eat dinner and have a good time. That is part of it. Obviously, some of it's fun and whatever. But part of the reason is to actually find out what that person is like. It's part of the talking stages. It has to happen. You have to have a case where you can sit down and goal set. No, goal set's a bit far, but at least express what you want out of the relationship, what you're looking for. And if it's just a bang, I ain't gonna say it's just a bang, because you ain't gonna get it, but be kind of honest. Like, right now I'm not looking for anything, and that's cool. But at least you're not wasting the time with the woman who actually wants something. And there's girls out there who just want to bang too. So make sure you choose the right partner. Make sure the goal that you want, that girl can provide that for you. And you really have to delve into questions to get that. So you need to look for what you want in a partner. When you go on a date, or when you start in this dating life, decide what you're actually dating to do. Are you dating to just have sex? Or are you dating for something else? And if you're dating for something else, you need to have clarity on what you want from that situation. You have to excuse me because my phone keeps looking and I have to look through. So yeah, you have to make sure that you're always looking for what you want in your partner when you're talking to them. It's very, very, very important, and it'll just save you a lot of heartache and pain. I've had so much conversations. I don't want to say names of people, but like with friends and stuff, where they'll tell me the story, and I could literally like pinpoint, okay, you've told me this, and this is going to happen now, and it literally happens, and every time they act shocked. And then I have my friends who don't come to me anymore because they think I'm too honest, and I tell them the truth. But it's just this. It's so obvious. If you get with a dude, right? If you're a female, and you get with a dude, and he doesn't have a job, he bums around, he cares about like being in the streets, he's lazy. What do you think happens when you get pregnant by that same person? Do you think they just randomly get the motivation? That's very, very rare. More time, they're going to look at this situation, they're going to say, I've got a kid. Oh, okay. Just another one. And they're just going to just bum it out. Why would they? Why would they do anything for you? They don't have that drive. It's not in them. So when that does happen, and you do say that he's that way, and you still continue to sleep with this person or be with this person, and they treat you a certain way, don't get upset at them. Be upset at yourself. You fucked up. And it's the same with dudes. If you're getting with a girl and she's banging around, and then you get in a relationship and you try to put holds on her, or I need you to do this and be this way and do that and da-da-da, and she's a hoe, how do you expect her to fulfill that? She can't. It's not in her nature. And you knew that. You was aware of that before you got into that. So don't make a hoe a housewife. That's what you need to do. Don't make a hoe a housewife. And another thing is as well, and this goes out for all the males out there, stop giving these hoes the same privileges or the benefits that you would give your wifey. Like, it's dumb. If a girl's a hoe and she's on that hoe game, stop giving her the ultimate prize. Stop giving her the kid and saying you want to get married and rushing things, because all you're doing is setting up your own demise. One, you have a kid with a chick who's probably going to be banging with your son or your daughter in the next room after they're done with you and not give zero fucks. Now you got some kid with trauma because your girl with your ex is fucking some next random dude every other weekend because that is her nature. And two, if you did get married to her, she's going to do whole shit. She's just going to rip you of everything you have. So anything you've worked for, if you are a hardworking man, she's going to take half of that. She's not going to have zero remorse because her way of life is to leech and you are her victim. So you have to choose your partners carefully and stop giving these hoes the prize that you should give good women. Now, I do think there's times where you just bang chicks. Like for dudes, I guess most dudes go through this period where they're just running the streets a little bit. And that's cool. And there's females for that. There's the females that do that. And you can link up with them females. But again, you have to be very clear on what it is. Don't give them the glorified wifey title when they don't deserve it. Tell them this is what it is and this is what we're doing, and be fucking careful. If you know this isn't something you want to have your kids with, then you got to make sure that there's things in place that doesn't happen. For sure. That's just undeniable. You have to make sure there's something in place that makes sure that these girls are not just trapping you. Because I've seen that so many times where it happens all the time to NBA players. I'm pretty sure they're really, really, really dumb people. Like, not to be horrible, but I'm pretty sure they are. Because they get with like the most hoiest hoes ever and then end up like with the baby, and then that girl's good. She's Gucci. She's just eating off your check and you're paying for next man to be in the yard and get banged. It's all crazy. So you have to be careful of that. This is a good one as well. Another one I want to talk about. So there was a study done, right? And this is kind of all ties into what I was just saying. There was a study done on males and females. And basically, they took the females and they asked them what the type of dudes they would date. And they gave them like certain categories. So it might be like a high value man, like middle class, low class, and then like someone who works at McDonald's or someone who does nothing. And statistically, all the women's answers depended on the status of that man. The higher the status, the more likely they were to go on a date or to date that person. And it shows that's because status is important. So males out there, you need to start building your status to a better place where you can achieve the high value woman that you want. And I'll explain what I think a high value woman is and what others think a high value woman is in a second. But just check out this video. It's pretty cool.
You pull up in that Ferrari, it has a big impact when you get to that nightclub.
You don't need to have a signal as big as a Ferrari.
Yeah.
So there's a study that was done, I think, in the early 90s, where they manipulated the status of men and women into one of three different types, high status, medium, and, McDonald's. And then they asked men and women, would you go out for a coffee with this guy? Would you go out on dinner? Would you marry him? And across all 6 levels of relationships, the status of a man had a profound effect on the likelihood of the woman saying yes. Higher the status, the more likely she said yes. That same manipulation on women had 0 effect on men.
So there's 2 things to take from that. One, I do think it's important that a man strives to be the best version of himself that he can be, and he needs to find a way to do that so he can have the choice of the better valued woman, I suppose, or more valued woman of what he wants in terms of the person. But secondly, here's a good question that I'd like to throw out to the chat, because this is another thing. Like the last one, I didn't really check my chats, but I will this time. And so when you guys throw questions out, I will try to answer them. But here's a thing: do men love more genuinely than women? Because I feel like there's more terms and conditions to a woman's love than a man's love. I feel like if you look at that study, there were several things that would entice a woman to a date. So maybe she said no to McDonald's and yes to middle class, and then like more interested in like the upper value. So the more a man had, the more likely he was to garner this person's attention or these people's attention. But with a man, he doesn't care where you're from. All he wants to do is someone who's going to love and be supportive of what he does. That's what that says to me. So do men love more genuinely than women? That's a very good question. I don't actually know the answer. I kind of feel like it's true, but I can only talk from my own perspective, because I feel like for me to love someone has nothing to do with their status or where they are. It's more to do with actually how they treat me, their loyalty levels, like their morals, how responsible they are. It's things more of that nature. It's nothing to do with anything like materialistic. And I think men, when you do choose your woman, you should find a woman who's more intrinsic than extrinsic, because you want a woman who when you come home, she is your peace, she is your shelter, and she's not just looking at things you buy. I do think it is nice to buy your woman stuff and be in a position to buy your woman stuff. So that's the onus on a man. He needs to make sure that he's doing everything he can to make sure he can bring her the happiness she wants. Why does she not deserve it? If she's a good woman, she does. But does that mean that men are more genuine when it comes to love with women? I don't know. It's a good question. What do you think, chat? Let's see what some of the chats have to say. Let me read some. Okay. Someone said to me, Marcell, what's your take on men's body count in comparison to a woman's body count? I knew this was going to happen when I started talking about body counts, because it always does. And it's very like touchy topic for some people, and that's probably because I feel like they've probably already wrecked themselves. But the truth of the matter is, body count for a man is very different to a body count to a woman. When a woman has sex with a man, and I know you've sort of heard this before, when a woman has sex with a man, she is being dominated by that man. He has to gain access to her. So he has to do, and it comes down to, again, like how men love and how women love. But he has to gain access to her. He's got to take her out. He's got to woo her. He's got to make her interested. He's got to find some way to penetrate that woman, right? When a woman sleeps with a dude, she just has to be there. So when it comes to a man and a woman's body count, a woman should be more protective over it, because your barriers to entry should be high. If you want a high quality man, and you want a man that's going to look after you and care and respect you, then you have to make your barriers to entry high. And it doesn't just mean finances. I do think finances is part of it, but it means like in character also. Does this person tick my boxes? And for a woman to sleep with a man, she doesn't have to tick any boxes, because we're bad like that. Bad, good, whatever. We don't give a shit. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, she's this and she's that. Like, if she's there and we're horny, like most men will do it. Now, love does come into play later on, but a woman's body count should 100% should be more thought about and taken into consideration. Like, she should actually think about what she's doing, who she's sleeping with. Because what happens is eventually they bang around, and then ultimately all women want the same sort of thing, marriage and children, right? And then you get with a dude, and the question sometimes doesn't come up, but in today's age it comes up way more. So like, and it has to come up more because some people are like scandalous, but the question comes up, how much people you slept with? If a woman had a low body count, she is quick to tell that number every single time. Yeah, I've only slept with da-da-da-da-da. Because it's a badge of honor almost. That's a good way to put it. When a woman doesn't sleep around, that's a badge of honor. And when a man does sleep around, it's a badge of honor. That's a very good way to look at it. And a woman wants a man who's desired by most, and a man wants a woman who's desired by him. I genuinely do believe that. Because when we get over, obviously everyone wants their girl to be pretty or whatever, but if we even if you do want a girl that's desired by men, you don't want her to be accessible to them men. You don't. Because that's what makes it good, is when you have your girl and she's pretty and she's gorgeous and everyone wants her and she doesn't give a fuck. All she cares about is you. Dudes are different. A man's innate biology is to spread seed. That's why I can impregnate loads of people and you can impregnate it by one person at a time. That is literally in our biological DNA. So we're hunters. We go around and we hunt. Someone who's been hunted, like if you've been clapped up by bear lions, like no one gives a shit. But the lion that collects the heads is a G. It's exactly the same thing. So body count for a woman and a man is different. It is. And a woman should take pride in having a low body count. 100%. And also another myth that I'd like to follow up with body counts as well, is that women say these like weird things like a woman with a low body count is going to be boring. And I think it's the stupidest like stance to take, because I can tell my girl to do what I like. I can teach her to do what I like, right? I don't want her to come in this relationship and show me what her ex-dude was doing and expecting me to like it. You're just reminding me that you've been fucked loads of times. That's all you're doing. I would rather my girl have as least bodies as possible, and I tell her what I like, and if we discover new things, great. But it's all down to what I have. It's not down to her showing me what someone else has. So this whole, you'll be boring in bed. No, it won't, because you could have been with one person and had sex, way more sex than someone who slept around easily. You might be having sex every other day, and the person who bangs around gets it once a week because they have to be in the nightclubs all the time. So don't think that having a high body count makes you experienced, because it really doesn't. And I don't think dudes really care that much if you come to them and say, yeah, well, I've slept with like 50 guys, so I'm really experienced. I think he'll be more disgusted, if I'm being honest. I would be anyway. I won't, no, not say disgusted. No, yeah, disgusted. I won't judge you like properly. Like I don't judge you as a person, but in my head, I'll rule you out as like, yeah, this is just a friend. Like that's how I would feel. So I think that when it comes to body counts and being experienced, experience isn't necessarily like how much people have you slept with. And I don't think that women should take the idea that sleeping around or having more body counts makes them more experienced, which makes them more wanted by men. It makes people want to fuck you more because you're easy, maybe. But generally, we don't look at that as like a value in a woman. All right, let me look what else is here. What are your thoughts on single mothers? I don't really have any thoughts on single mothers. They have a child, and depending on their circumstances, it might not be their fault while they're single. Maybe the relationship failed, or man could have died. There's loads of reasons of why you could be a single mum. I just think that when you are in that position, a woman should always make sure that she puts her child before anything. And if you do have another partner coming into that situation and you have a child, then that woman has to make sure that that man understands that the child's first. And a lot of, do you know what I don't like is when women let dick talk when it comes to their children. Like, so if you're a single mum and you're dealing with a dude and you know that the example that this dude is setting is bad for your child, you should not be fucking around with that dude. Because regardless of what you fantasize about or what you're lusting for, your child should be your number one priority. And you should never have anyone around your child that you don't want your child to be like. So if you feel like you're dating this dude and it's just sex or whatever, like, cool if you want to do that, I suppose. but you should never have it around your child. I think single mums have to have a responsibility, a more of a responsibility with who they pick when they date, because they have someone who's looking up to them. They're already at a disadvantage because if you're a single mum and the dad's not around or present, because I don't think when I class single mum as something else. So for me, a single mum isn't someone whose dad's still involved. That's not a single mum. That's a single person who's co-parenting. For me, a single mother is someone like, say the dad's not involved at all and it's just the mother raising the child. That's a single mum. And they have responsibility above all to their children. Regardless, that's your responsibility now. So it doesn't mean you can't go out and have fun. You can go out and have fun, but you have to be setting a good example to your children. So I don't have anything bad to say about single moms. I think that some of them do really good jobs with what they have and the resources that they have. And some do really bad jobs. You do have really bad jobs. But I just think as long as the mother keeps the child's best interests at heart, then that's great. And another thing as well, with single parents, especially mothers, is you have to make sure that you give your child, because there may not be a man present, you give your child like a balanced view, and be very selective in things you say and things you show your child so you can give them a very balanced view. Don't make it just like a woman's point of view, especially if you have boy children, because he'll grow up and he'll be soft, and he'll grow up and he'll probably get taken advantage of, and he'll have this like, you lose that, I don't want to say warrior mentality, but like there's certain things that you don't pick up on or you don't target because you have such feminine traits, because you've had a woman all the time. So you might be too kind on certain things. You might not be aggressive when you need to be. I don't mean aggressive like fighting, like it could be aggressive like when it comes to getting a job role or fighting your case in the corner in a debate. Just little things that you might let people take over you because you have a really super kind heart, because your mum, one, probably shelters you because your dad's not around, and two, she's a woman, she's there to nurture us. Then you tend to have that nurturing aspect rather than the protective provider aspect. So I'd say as a single parent, a single mum, try to be as balanced as possible, especially when you have boy children. Try to think about like, how can I make them a better man? Actually make it the forefront of your thoughts of how to make a better man. And if you have a daughter, you should be thinking, how can I make her make the right choices that gets her the type of person that I would want to be with? You'd have to give your daughter the tools to be the woman who's able to get with the person that you would want to be with. And that's what I would say about single mothers. I think that's a fair statement. All right. So, red flags. I want to go back to red flags because I want to show you this video. I'm going to play this video now, and it's of two people having a conversation, and then I'll comment on it, on what I think about it.
Would you rather marry a guy who is rich, buys you a ton of fancy shit like Birkins, brings you on dope trips, but cheats on you? Or marry a broke dude and he doesn't cheat?
Okay, so the second one does not cheat.
No, he don't cheat. He loves you, like literally he sends you flowers on the most random days with little teddy bears that are holding like a tiny balloon.
I'm going to say the first guy. And here's why.
So not only did she really take time to think about the question, she asked about the second guy and listened to all the things he was going to say and then still chose the first guy. Women don't give a fuck sometimes, man. I swear to you. She would rather be flown around and cheat on, which is cool if she's fine with that. But why even ask about the second guy? Like, just be honest. Say, do you know what? For me, I don't mind my partner having multiple people. So, yes, please. I don't mind my guy having multiple people. So, thank you. So let him buy me all the gifts and stuff I want. That wasn't actually the part that I thought was bad. The first guy, what they're basically trying to say, doesn't give a fuck about you. Genuinely doesn't care. He takes you out and buys you gifts to shut you up. Doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't spend time with you. Doesn't love you. And the second guy loves you. But he's poor. Would it is money more than love for people? Like, I get it. Like, I do think finances should take count. I've said this like multiple times today. Finances is definitely a factor when you're thinking about someone. But would you throw it all away? Like, you'd throw love away for money? And then you'll get in a situation where you feel abused and used, and then you're later on going to cry and scream and say, this person abused me and da-da-da-da, but you chose money over love. So what did you expect to happen? I just think people have a lot of like warped ideas on life. Do you know what I actually think it is? I think it's social media. I think social media has got to a point where we see all these short little clips of what we think is reality, and it's just not. So you see like people happy and they've got gifts, and behind closed doors, like they're miserable. So we then go to our partners and we're like, oh, I want to have this and that. And maybe they can't provide that for you. And then you start to say things like, oh, they're boring and you want to leave. That might be a good person. It could be a very, very good person who cares about you, thinks about you, and you want to leave because they won't buy you, they can't afford to buy you gifts. Now, men, do a fucking better job. If your woman wants something or she needs something, you should try to make it happen. She should be happy. I do think that a woman should be happy and she should have everything you can provide for her, but it has to be within means. Like, and again, this comes down to when you're first dating, understanding someone's potential, understanding where they can go, where they're at, where they're going. And sometimes you can't judge people of where they're at, like right then, but you can look at like the potential. Okay, this is the potential of this, but you can't judge your relationship based on other people or other small snippets of paradise that you see online, because it's not real. The truth is that most of the time when you see that stuff, and I've seen it, like people will be in parties, yeah, sick, da 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 da. Got your cameras like, oh yeah, drink, da 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 da. So a lot of it's fake. And that we take these small fake snippets and think it should be our life every day. And it creates this realm of sadness that or delusion that people have. And they think, okay, this is boring for me. I want out of this. I want a more exciting life. But you have to understand what comes with a more exciting life. If you want a dude who's like can charter jets and fly and do all this stuff, he's a busy dude. So you have to understand that sometimes you may not even he may not have time for you. Can you handle that? Can you handle the fact that he's got to be busy? He's got battles he needs to find. He's got to make sure he's putting hours in so you can have that bag and everything you want, them trips that you want. That means he's not going to see you. So you can't be in his ear saying, oh, we don't spend time. And you can't have it both ways. It's either I work all these hours and we get this bread and you take the materialistic things you love. And sometimes you've got to sacrifice time. And that's just how it is. We've got to be like that sometimes. I want to play this next clip. This is a woman giving advice on how you should. It kind of just reflects on what I just said on how you should give advice to her friends or other women. So listen to this.
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person. So don't let guilt get the best of you.
You're not doing him any favors by staying. If anything, you're actually going to start building up resentment. Your relationship doesn't have to be toxic to validate your feelings of wanting to leave. Think of it this way. If he's a good guy, he deserves to be happy. That means he deserves to be with somebody who values him and wants him just the way he is. If that's not you.
Now, this woman to me is a prime example of why female friends can be bad. Because I think single female friends pour this exact bullshit to people who are in relationships. And I've seen it happen loads of times. Misery loves company. I do genuinely believe that. Now, the person she's describing in this video isn't a bad person. He's a good guy, she's saying. If you want to leave a good guy, that's fine. Why would you want to leave a good guy and why would you give someone that advice? Since when do we not work on relationships anymore? If there's a problem or you're not happy, when do we not speak and talk it out? Why would your first thing be like, yeah, let me just leave? Like, this is why I don't like... No, I don't like females in friendship groups where the dynamics don't make sense. If you're a good girl and you don't believe in sleeping around, I don't think you should be with friends that sleep around. For a female, I don't believe that. And let me tell you why, right? I've never once been with my boys and they've convinced me to cheat, ever. I've never once been with my boys and they're like, go sleep with this person or go sleep with that person or do this or do that. Now, if I come to them with someone who's hot, they might be like, boy, you might have to do da-da-da. That's different. In female groups, when you have like the girl who slept around, she wants the good girl to have slept around too. So she will say things like that she will openly encourage the person to cheat. I've seen it happen. They'll openly say things like, and they do it in a way, like a very vicious and malicious way. They'll be like, oh, you're frigid. You don't know nothing about sex because you haven't had sex with loads of people. Or no one's going to want you because you haven't had sex with X, Y, Z people. And they do it in a way where they belittle the person. And the reason being is because they're ashamed of what they do and they want friends to do the same thing. So there's a group of them because when cowards band together. And that's why I think it's important that you choose your friendship groups correctly. For dudes, I don't believe that's the case because I don't think dudes do that. But what I will say is if you've got a group of friends as a male and he's lazy or doesn't want to work or that is infectious, I'd say. You need to be around people that are going to be strong-minded, strong-willed, strong in body, strong in mind, strong in spirit, loyal, honest. Those are the friends you want as a dude, for sure. Like, anyone who don't have those traits is bad. But for a woman, it's the single females who slut around. And you know the only time they change? When they get in a relationship. When they get in a relationship, suddenly they understand where you was coming from and you was right all this time and blah, 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 blah. Before that, it's almost borderline convincing the girl to go fuck around or fuck with loads of dudes or cheat or I'm not going to say nothing or they create environments where that happen. They'll create environments where that happen. They'll go to a club and then they'll just bring bare females to the table and blah, blah, blah. I know people are going to say, yeah, but men do the same. Men do the same. The difference is we're the hunter, not the hunted. So if you, if loads of girls are put around the table, I have to hunt. I've got to put in my work. When a girl brings loads of dudes around the table, she's there to be hunted. It's very, very, very different. So yeah, single females that are hoes, be very, very cautious of them. And I'll say this as well, like when you think about dating and how you should be, I wrote this phrase down because I liked it. But men like females who are very feminine and soft, and that doesn't mean that they want someone who lays down, but they want someone who's going to be able to nurture a home. That's just what we want. And a female wants someone who's like strong and will of mind, protecting, provider. You have to be completely sure that is what you're getting. Because what will happen is you'll find yourself is you'll get with these dudes or these girls and they're not what you think. And then when you get put into a place where you need them to be the rock that you need at that time. So for a male, say you come from a stressed day and you just need to relax and your girl to tend for you for that moment. But she's too busy on her phone or fucking around with her friends or whatever. And now suddenly you're thinking, what's this? And for the same for a female. You hit a problem and he's not able to help you sort it out, or there's a financial situation and you're both crumbling, he's not able to figure it out. Like suddenly you lose interest in the relationship. So you have to really buckle down and think about what you want out of a relationship and can this person provide. You have to look at your non-negotiables and your negotiables, and don't do stupid stuff. Like actual things that matter. Does this person know how to look after their family? How's this person when it comes to other people? How's their loyalty to people? What do they value morally? You know, those sort of things you have to start questioning. And those will bring out other aspects that you'll start to realize, like other traits that you'll either love or hate. But when you ask people like certain questions, have those things in mind so you can make sure you're zoning into the narrative that you want to. Okay. Let me go back to chat because I did say I was going to and see what everyone says. Someone here said, Marcel, should I get a girl at 15? At 15, grind. That's what I say. Girls will come later on. You don't need to worry about that. You need to find yourself thinking of ways how you can be strong in body, mind, and soul. You just have to be that way, and that will set you up as you grow. If you set those boundaries now, then as you grow, you'll only enhance those same things. So you start working hard in the gym now and getting the right mind. When you go to the job, or when you find something you want to do, or find a profession that you want to conquer, you'll go hard in it because you'd already set the foundation, that determination. Like, make sure I know how to do what I'm doing. Make sure I'm set. Make sure I have to wake up every day or a set time. Like, you have to create your own disciplines, and those disciplines can be transferable to multiple different aspects of your life. So at 15, I wouldn't worry about girls. They're going to come and go. Like, I would worry about yourself, like making sure you are programming yourself and not being programmed by others to be the machine that can be the best version of you. That's what I would say. 1 second. So, what's a high value woman to a man? Now, we know what a high value man is to a woman. Protect, provide, blah, blah, blah. What's a high value woman to a man? It is absolutely nothing to do with work or money. Because the way I see it is, when you're in a relationship, there's my money. No, sorry. There's our money, and then there's your money. I'm never going to say to my girl, like, oh, I need some money or whatever. I will always try figure it out. So if she works, or she has like a lot of money, that's just for her to spend. It's not really for me. And if I make loads of money, it's for us to spend, because I'm trying to make sure that my family is set and secure. I take pride in protecting the family, and that's usually why men get a little bit disgruntled when a woman works or makes more money than them, because they feel like they're not doing what they're supposed to. It should make them grind harder. It shouldn't make them envious of the woman. They should admire. Like, if a woman wants to work, that's fine. If she does well and successful, that's great. But if you're in a situation where your woman makes more than you, it should make you want to grind harder. It should make you want to work harder. So for a man, it's not about finances when it comes to the value of a woman. The value of the woman actually comes with, and again, you're going to hate this, how much sexual partners she had, how loyal she is to me, how much she's willing to do for me when I'm home. And that doesn't mean like I'm saying, oh, women belong in the kitchen and blah, 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 blah. But if I'm out making it happen, and again, I'll say this as well. This doesn't go to couples where you're doing 50-50 split. You can't do 50-50 split and then say, I need my girl at home cooking and cleaning, because that's bullshit. When you're doing majority of the work, you can then, which you should be, you can then lead your household. And when you lead your household, you can say, like, agreement with your wife that certain things that she can do, which might be the cooking, the cleaning, looking after the children, making sure the house is a home. Because do you know how important that is? It's so important that when I come home from work, that you make this house a home. Because I don't want to fight my battles in the world and have to think about bills and blah, blah, and come home and then argue or fight with you over stuff. I want it to be a very peaceful, tranquility type of place. Where the kids are safe and having fun, and we can all bond. That's what I want. And the person who does that the best is a woman, because she's a nurturer. Her job as a woman is to nurture. Like, again, biologically, that's what she does. When she has a man, she nurtures that man. I need you to nurture me, and I want to protect you. I want to provide. So a high value a woman for a man is someone who understands how to create that environment, who understands how to be feminine. Very, very important. I don't need my chick rolling up on me like a dude. Like, I don't need her to be angry. I need her to be soft. I want her to be honest with me. I want her to speak to me. I want her I want to be able to sit down and joke. And I would, me personally, like, I like a partner who, if I'm unsure about something, I can say, like, oh, I'm thinking about doing this. What's your thing? And she can give me an opinion. Now, I may not take her opinion, but at least I would enjoy the feedback. Like, I do enjoy that from women. Some people don't care and rather their woman just shuts up and they get out with it. But that's not me personally. So, but I don't want her to come at me like aggressive and stuff. And Do you know what? I see this the most? Like when I look at like New York women and like how they talk, to me that's so masculine. I just think that's so unattractive. Like I want my woman to be an angel. I want her to be my angel even. I want her to be soft and delicate with me. I need her to be the queen to my king. Like I just is what it is. So I think for a man, what makes a high value woman is someone who's not easy accessible. Because if you're not easily accessible, then it makes me a lot more comfortable in environments you can find yourself in. So if I feel like my girl is someone that's hard to even garner their attention, then I'm okay with her being in certain environments. She might go out and I'll be like, do you know what? I know when she's out, you can't even chat to her. I don't like my girls nice either. I want her to be nice to my people, but when you're out, I don't want you to be nice. Hi, how you doing? What's your name? Gives name. So what you doing? Sorry, I don't speak to other males. I want her to be rude like that. I want her to let everyone know that no, like, even though I'm here, I'm taken. This is just me letting down my hair, whatever the reason. She might want to just have a time with her girls, whatever. That's cool. But I want her to be rude in that environment. I don't want her to be I don't even want people to think they're even possible to entertain her. Tell her actually, I don't want her to be rude because that puts her in danger. Not rude, but I do want her to be dismissive. I want her to be very, very, very clear in that she is not available. I take it back, not rude, because being rude can lead you to getting boxed in your mouth, and that does happen, unfortunately. Sometimes men can't take rejection, and if you speak to them a certain way, you get these idiot guys that like might hit you or whatever. So not rude. I don't want to put her in I don't want to put her in a situation where she's gonna get blasted or hit or anything, because then I've got to come out with a gun them and blah blah man. You get me? So you have to keep it like wise in how you let people down. But I do want her to think that she's unavailable. So not accessible to others, soft, nurturing, loving, loyal, and caring. Those are high value things for a man. Absolutely nothing to do with financial, because we don't give a shit. Because your money is your money and my money is our money. I 100% believe that. Because when we go out, if you're with me, I'm paying. And everything you do for work is so you can pay for things that you want to pay for. And everything I do for work is so that we can pay for stuff. And I think that should happen on the lowest level. Even if you've got like an average job and like whatever, you should still be paying majority of the shit in the house, for sure. And she should be able to just, if she does decide that she wants to work, that she should be able to just enjoy her money. But sometimes women, okay, this might go back to single mothers actually. Sometimes women get into this frame where like, because they may come from a single household or you met them as a single parent, they have like they want to be completely independent. So even depending on you for stuff, to them, they're not sure about it. Maybe they've had it thrown in their face before, or they depended on someone before, they let them down, and when they tried to get out of it, they were stuck. So then they get in this frame where like they want to work and whatever. But if she does decide that she wants to work, that's totally up to her. Make sure that her money is her money to spend, so she can spend it on the things that she loves, and you take care of all the other stuff. You make sure the bills, because I'm not even saying like you got to pay her bills, but you got to pay the bills. And the bills is everything that is important when it comes down to roof over your head, is the bills. Gas and electric is the bills. You got to make sure that she at least doesn't have to think, at minimum, at least she does not have to think about the foundations. Gas, electric, water, blah, 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 blah. Like at least if she's got her own bills, that's fine. If you want to pay that, great. I think that's great. That's a great advantage. But let her enjoy her coins. I generally think that. So for finances with women, I don't think it matters. So a high value woman to a man is very different from what a high value man to a woman is. I'm going to quickly speak on emotion again, because I want to speak about the emotions of men. And why I said the things I said last week about men not crying, because I think a lot of people got that misconstrued. I think when a man is too emotional, dangerous things happen. If a man is constantly letting out his emotions and is not able to control them, I think that's when dangerous things happen. That's when a man will go into a shop and shoot it up, or beat up their girlfriend, or abuse or attack someone. It's because they don't have their emotions in check. And that's why I said you have to be emotionally intelligent and know when you can and can't express your emotion. I'm not trying to say you can't be sad. Everyone gets sad and everyone has good and bad days. I'm not trying to say that, but you have to be able to keep your emotions on check. You have to. And when you don't do those things, when a man does start practicing just free, willy-nilly, like letting his emotions out all the time, I just think it's when it leads to bad things. The person who shoots up the school is an emotional person. The person who beats up his girlfriend and gets drunk every day is an emotional person. So I've got a little thing I want you guys to see. Like, you could probably find it on Temu, for all the people who got upset with me last time saying a dude shouldn't cry. So I'm pretty sure you guys can find that online. It'd be really great for you guys. I know you got upset last time, I think I said. So here's something for you to buy, you know. Sorry if you got offended on the first one. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. Actually, no. I haven't seen the training video that we done last week. So I'm going to watch that and do a live reaction for you guys. And let's see how good or bad I did. Probably done terrible, but let's see.
Hey. Go up. Go up. Go up. Go up. Go up. Oh. First casualty of the day. Good trot. Good, Marcell. Good, good, good. Oh, good! Good!
Fucking does it to everyone. Alright. So do you know what? I'll give everyone an insight into like what happens when you like Andrew's 4-time kickboxing world champion. Luke Barnett fought on the UFC. He's won titles in other organizations as well. So he's the OG as well, right? These motherfuckers are massive, right? And you start off round one. So that's like in round 10 or something. You start off round one and you feel like really fast and sharp and you think like you can keep up. And because what's good about them is that while you're training with them, they'll like walk you through it, or they'll tell you like, oh, you know, move your feet or whatever. So you start doing the things that start working. But the moment you get hit with something hard, at that point there, it all goes out the window. You forget everything they tell you and you go into survival mode. I actually like messed up my thumb in that one, so it was hard to throw punches. But you have to like, what I love about things like that is no matter what happens, you have to power through. They don't let you stop. You got to keep going. So it builds mental fortitude. I love doing those sparring matches. In the time, it feels horrible, and a lot of people see that and be like, oh, I want to do it. I guarantee you'll quit. I guarantee you'll quit within the first 2 rounds. Once you're tired, fatigue makes a coward out of men. Once you are tired, you will quit. That is guaranteed. And these motherfuckers, just because you're tired, ain't going to let up on you. Some of them shots Andrew's hitting people with are deep body shots. Like, he's crazy when it comes to angle, especially like he's so tall and he's long, so he's good with his range and stuff. But it will make fatigue out of animals. So I know a lot of people will see this and think, oh, do you know, I want to get involved. I wish I could do that. And I think you can, but you have to start ground up. And how I would say doing that is you need to find a way to build yourself up first. And you know what? Andrew's created a platform where you can do that. You can join the real world and you can build yourself mentally up. And you can focus on getting stronger mentally and getting your finances up. And then once you've done that, because this app, I'm not even joking, does all those things. And then once you've done that, once you've got your coins up, once you've got some money, you join the real world, you might be in there sparring with Andrew yourself. So there's ways that you can get there, but get in that situation, there's a lot of stuff you need to do beforehand. You need to make sure you're ready, because Andrew don't take quitters. And Luke don't take no quitters either. Barnett is gonna fuck you up. You see, if you lay on that wall and you're tired, he's going to fuck you up, bruv. So make sure you get yourself in check. Make sure if you do find yourself in these positions, or you sitting there and saying, oh, I really want to do it, blah blah. It's great and it's cool and it's cute, but make sure your mind's in the right place. Because I promise you now, when you get tired, it's horrible. But at the same time, it's good and I love it. And I do love those guys. And they teach me stuff all the time. And there'll be one day you see a video where I'm fucking Andrew up. Because what it is, basically, I can actually beat Andrew and Luke. That's the truth. But it's for TV. It's for TV. I can't fuck it up online. So I have to keep it PG. So I have to take my foot off the gas. Because I don't know if any of you know, my professional record, I'm undefeated. So that's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to leave it there, guys. It's been great talking with you guys. I'm going to go watch Andrew's interview with Piers Morgan, which should be on right now. So I'm about to go. It's just going to be sick. And if you've not tuned into part 1, it's crazy. Part 2 is going to be crazy. And I'll see some of it already. Absolutely hilarious. So make sure you guys tune in. Andrew will be interviewed and Tristan will be interviewed. And it's going to be a wicked interview. So lock into that. And guys, I'm going to love and leave you. Males stay masculine, females stay feminine. I love you guys. Peace.